Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen today, we have this little tweet from DeMonte that we're going to be talking about in this video. He tweeted out, this was during this past weekend, what was the date on this? March 27th, so that would have been Saturday. He tweeted out LCS viewership numbers Sag, and part of the reason for this was that the LCS viewership numbers were pretty low, but also this was right after we had that banger G2 Schalke series where I believe Medic tweeted out that viewership peaked around 650,000 for what was a first round playoff game. That is absolutely insane. That also makes me really excited to see what the rest of the playoffs are going to look like for the LEC. Like, what is the semifinals going to be for G2? Yeah, it's against Mad Lions. I don't know exactly how, how they do in terms of viewership and everything, but the finals, depending on who G2 plays, if G2 even makes it, whatever, what those numbers are going to be. The LEC has been popping off in terms of numbers, and the LCS has really been doing the opposite. So in today's video, we're going to be going over some numbers, looking at the past couple of years, the LCS spring splits, and then also be talking about why this is happening, what is going on, how can the LCS fix this, or are they just doomed? But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second and smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and it's an awesome and easy way to help support my channel and my content if that's something that you're interested in doing. Also, subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. I believe we're really close to 6,500 subs, so that would be awesome to hit today. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So, obviously, Wicked shared his opinion about this. He said, NA permanently getting shit on while having shit practice environment with 60 ping. NA lost their most popular players, and the fans asked for that. Sadly, he's not surprised. So, this is a fair point. Yes, the ping, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Who knows exactly why the LCS has sucked? Is it their environment? Is it their coaching staff? Is it their players? Is it the small population on the server? Is it the ping? Is it players' attitudes? Is it because imports are coming here and collecting checks? Is it because we import too much? There's a million different reasons, and everyone's opinion is a little bit different. And in the end, it's probably just a multitude of so many different reasons. There's no one reason. Does the ping help? No, but there's a lot of stuff there. Also, another big thing is that, yes, NA lost most of their popular players this offseason. We saw the loss of Bjergsen, Doublelift, Xmithy. I know we saw the loss of Sneaky a couple years ago. These are a lot of people. This was your favorite player. I mean, between Bjergsen, Doublelift, and even throw Sneaky in there, that was probably more than half of the LCS's favorite player, I would assume. I mean, most people were either TSM just has such a big fan base at the beginning where you're already talking Bjergsen is going to be so many people's favorite player, but then even Doublelift goes into the TSM fans. But even with the people who hate TSM, you can still have some Doublelift fans in there from his CLG days, from his Team Liquid days, who knows exactly. And then Sneaky roping in a lot of the Cloud9 fans and stuff. I mean, again, losing all those players, that can be really bad for viewership. But viewership has kind of been declining even while some of those players were playing, but then we've seen it even further decline. Obviously, there's talks about the production. Is the LCS production maybe not as good as the LEC? Is the talent not as good? Obviously, COVID has affected things. We saw a huge drop-off in LCS viewership. Is it because LCS viewers are just less likely to watch during COVID times because we got other stuff going on? Who knows exactly? Or just the fact that LCS production has taken a massive hit during COVID since things have gone online. LEC has handled it much better. Yes, you can talk about the laws and restrictions and stuff in place that the LCS has had. Maybe it's not all their fault, but for whatever reason, LEC has been able to keep things running much more smoothly, and it's looked way better. The LEC, in my opinion, has better talent in terms of broadcasters and everything than the LCS does. There's just a lot going on there. So there's just so many different things to talk about. And we actually, when we scroll down a little bit, we have some of the numbers and stuff. So this guy did say over 150K on Twitch alone, if you count the co-streamers, not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. And this guy said only 202K in total. That's 3 times less than the LEC, which again, like I said, I believe the LEC peaked around 650K during their playoff match on Saturday, and the LCS was only around 202. But I mean, it even got closer to like 250, I believe. 3 times less than the LEC, and that's 2 times less than the LCS had last year, which is crazy. And then the guy provides all these charts. So when we take a look at some of these charts, this is 2017 LCS. Obviously, the most watched match TSM Cloud9. This was, I believe, the grand finals. 642,000 viewers. That's absolutely insane. But for most of the season, they were hovering around 180,000 average viewers. A lot of these different charts and stuff are going to be skewed because in 2021 we haven't seen the full playoffs yet. But just kind of keep some of these general trends in mind. So that was 2017. We had to 2018. Peak viewers going down a little bit, but average viewers is up overall, which was awesome. We actually had a non-TSM game be the most viewed game, which is kind of crazy and kind of surprising because TSM got knocked out by Clutch early on. Clutch 100 Thieves had a ton of viewership. This is 100 Thieves was new. They were exciting. They were a good team also. They made it to the finals with TL and had 520,000. Again, average viewers up, peak viewers a little bit down. 2019, peak viewers rebounding, average viewers staying strong. LCS is still looking to be in a really, really good position. You see a ton of TSM. I didn't mean to click on that. You see a ton of TSM, just like always. Finals right around 600,000, which is crazy. And, you know, the average viewer is still around 200,000. But then last year, 2020, again, COVID hit. We got a lot of different stuff going on. We start to run into some issues. Viewership, it takes a little bit of a hit. Average viewers is down almost 20,000, which is around 10%, which is pretty significant. Peak viewers, way down. The playoffs did not have that good of viewership. The most viewed game was Week 1, Day 2, TSM versus Immortals. That really doesn't make much sense to me. TSM's playoff match against FlyQuest had decent viewership. The finals, FlyQuest against Cloud9 had decent viewership. But overall, you know, average viewers and stuff starts to go down a little bit. And then finally in 2021, so far, we have seen average viewers be around 150. Again, we'll see this number continue to rise throughout the playoffs, you know, especially if the finals is like TSM, Cloud9, Team Liquid, any of those teams, especially any combination of those two. Viewership will start to go up, but peak viewers so far has been down. Yes, we did not have that great of viewership for day one. TSM Team Liquid, 270K, wasn't great. TSM EG, another playoff match, said 240, but, you know, so far the other playoff matches and stuff haven't been exciting. A lot of the top teams outside of TSM aren't getting the viewership that maybe we're used to seeing them over the past couple of years. And then even TSM, while they're still having the most viewership, they're even seeing a little bit reduced viewership, which is crazy when you see at the same time a team like G2 continues to explode in popularity and explode in viewership and just grow more and more and more when they can have a regular playoff series against Schalke, who I believe was like the 4th best team in the LEC. And yes, it went to Game 5, and yes, it was a crazy series where maybe one of the best teams in the world was going to get upset, and that was really, really fun. You had a ton of LCS viewership, you had European viewership, but still, for them to be crushing the LCS by that much is a little bit surprising, is a little bit shocking, and is definitely concerning and worrying. Because yes, obviously you see once even pro players start tweeting out about LCS viewership, this is something that affects their careers and paychecks and just the longevity of them going forward. You know, if the viewership's not there, they can't continue to do this going into the future. So this kind of got me thinking about, just how much is this affected by, you know, the amount of pro players that we lost this last year? How much is this affected by the LCS World results? Because over these past 5 years, it's not like the LCS has I mean, they have had worse World results more recently. Obviously, we haven't had a team get out of Worlds now, or get out of groups at Worlds in the past couple of years. But before that, I mean, our results weren't great. At best, we were usually getting like one team out. It's pretty much just always Cloud9. Yes, they did make a semifinal run at Worlds, which is really, really exciting. But we didn't know that was going to happen before, and they weren't looking that good coming into Worlds. We didn't know we had, you know, maybe a top 4 team in the world in the LCS at that time, or at least a top 4 placing team in the world. So it's really, really crazy, and there's a lot going on. Now, could Bjergsen affect viewership if he came back and played? Could Doublelift affect viewership if he came back and played? Absolutely. We know that superstar players in all sports, in all walks of life, in all entertainment, you know, if you go to see a movie and it's got your favorite movie star in it, that you pay the movie star the big bucks for a reason. They're going to bring eyeballs. They're going to draw attention. And the LCS, thankfully, honestly, has been getting a ton of co-streaming. You know, they have like the Doublelift co-stream and the Sneaky and the Meteos, those guys putting up a ton of numbers. And if they weren't doing that co-streaming, would those numbers be going to the LCS broadcast, or would they maybe just not be watching the LCS at all? Like, I mean, that is a legitimate question, especially during these times where, yeah, the LCS online broadcast, even as an American, as an LCS viewer and fan, kind of sucks. It's not that interesting. The desk they have is really, in my opinion, boring. They keep kind of bringing on more people who are not that exciting or not that interesting or not really providing star power or any real entertainment value to the desk in any ways. So I don't know. I mean, it's really, really rough. Obviously, these things are super, super exciting to see for the LEC. I mean, seeing them putting up the kinds of numbers they're putting up is really bringing a lot of just legitimacy to the European League of Legends scene. Obviously, they've been having insane world results and insane performances and everything. But at the end of the day, this is entertainment. This is business. You got to make money. You got to continue to put up viewership and everything and get the brand deals and sponsorships. And we know that a lot of European teams have been struggling in terms of actually making money and finding ways to make this a profitable business in the last couple of years. And the LCS has actually been doing better than them in that regard. But if viewership continues to kind of cross and the LEC continues to explode up while the LCS maybe goes down a little bit, we could see a real changing of the guard here. And again, I know the LCS has done a lot of different things like changing with the schedule, and maybe Europeans are less kind of inclined to watch the LCS when there's a ton of awesome European regional leagues that are on the climb. You know, at the end of the day, there's only 24 hours in a day, and when the LEC is taking up this much time and European regional leagues are taking up this much time, and minor regions are becoming more popular, and the LCS is maybe stagnating a little bit, and maybe the level of play isn't there, and the star power isn't there in terms of the players. So like, yeah, while we did lose Bjergsen and Doublelift in the same offseason, we didn't really bring in a new kind of era of star players. Like, thankfully, we actually got Perks over, and he's obviously a huge big name player that I'm sure a lot of European fans tune into most of, if not all of Cloud9's games. But outside of him, who are the big stars in the LCS right now? Like, we have some very good players like Alfari and Core JJ and Swordart and Power of Evil and these guys, and even like Sven, but these aren't Bjergsen and Doublelift type guys who are really polarizing and exciting and bring in viewership. They don't have the same kind of star power as some of the guys that we lost. And, those are two of the biggest stars we may ever see in North American League of Legends, but somebody needs to step up and somebody needs to kind of fill their place in terms of dominance, in terms of respect, in terms of entertainment value, whether it's trash talking or just finding a way. I know Perks is really a genius with a lot of that stuff, and again, he's great, but we need more players like that. And even that's just a guy we kind of poached from Europe, brought him over. He was already known for being super entertaining and being super popular and everything, so I don't know. In the end, yes, it would help if Doublelift came back or Bjergsen came back or whatever, but obviously Bjergsen's not coming back, Doublelift's not coming back, and Doublelift wasn't even that good of a player last year. So, there is a balance of overall talent and also viewership and stuff that you need to balance, so it can be really, really difficult. And right now, it seems like the LCS is kind of struggling in all regards. They're losing respect as a region in terms of talent and results, but they're also kind of losing viewership and stuff as well. So overall, it's just not going well. I wonder how the rest of playoff viewership, I wonder how it'll go. I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on it, but it seems like we're trending lower than we were in 2020, which was trending lower than we were in 2019, and also seeing going forward how this is going to affect sponsorships, how this is going to affect profitability of the teams in the LCS, how this is going to affect interest in the LCS. Are they going to continue to get sponsors and brand deals and new investors and everything, or are they going to have to make some big changes to fix some stuff? Maybe once COVID comes over, maybe once quarantine's done, maybe once fans come back and we get that environment and everything once again, maybe viewership explodes again in North America. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe those people have found something else to do with their time because it is definitely an ultra competitive entertainment environment out there where you got 24 hours in a day and you have a ton of different options you can do with them. So I don't really know. In the end, I definitely believe that the LEC has been doing a ton of things right. I believe the LCS has been doing a ton of things wrong, and we're seeing that. And it was just really, really interesting for me to actually see like a pro player comment on these things and also see some of the numbers between some of these graphs and everything. I think this is an awesome website, this escharts.com, where I got this information from. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Are you worried about the LCS viewership? Why do you think they've been struggling? Why do you think the LEC's been popping off? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!